Hey guys, it's Josh from Team Messina Gates, and I'm bringing you guys a Tribrigade Zoodiac deck profile for the December 2020 format, and yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So, deck's gonna be 41 cards. You could cut a couple things. You cut one thing in particular to make it 40 if you really want to, but I found that 41's been working pretty solid for me. But to start things off, we're just going to run triple of the Fractal. He's your starter for your Tri-Brigades. We're going to run two of the Keras, and lastly, I run three of the Nerval. So each of these guys do the same thing on board. They can banish one. Well, they can banish Beast, Wing Beast, or Beast Warrior monsters in order to like link summon a Beast or Beast Warrior. But the main one, the reason why I max on the Nerval and the uh, Fractal is because Fractal is essentially your starter plays, and the way I run the deck, I kind of always want three Nerval just because I run Desires and I don't want to run the risk of banishing one because you know Nerval is kind of essential. If you don't play Desires, I would say you could get away with probably maybe even playing like two or one, but because I'm playing the Desires, I run three of it. Um, he also like when he's sent to grave, he searches you out another Tri Brigade, and that is one of the main effects you're gonna be using. Karis is also I run him at 2 once again because I'm running Desires. If you weren't running Desires, you could easily run him at 1. He's just a free special, and he's only good in conjunction with other like Beast Warriors. So which is why most builds do run him at 1. Once again, Fractal is definitely a 3F. He's your Beast Warrior. He's your starter. He gets your plays going with your Tri-Brigade engine. And that's going to be it for just the Tri-Brigade portion of for the monster count. And now we move into like the zoos. I am only playing 2 of the Thoroughblade, 2 Whiptail, triple Ram, and the 1 Rat. I found that this ratio has been working for me. I think, honestly, as long as you're running like 8 zoo monsters, you should be fine. Yeah, 8 zoo monsters, you should be fine. I think that some people are running like 3 Thoroughblade, 3 Whiptail, and like the 3 Ram and the 1 Rap here is a little too much. The zoos are good, but like, I don't know, I feel like running too many of them just kind of becomes redundant, and I think that 8 is a good amount. You can't even. One thing I could be doing is just format dependent. You could since kind of like impermanence is starting to fall out, you could get away with like changing this Ram for a Bunny Blast. So you run 2 Ram, the 1 Bunny Blast, and then 2 Thoroughblades, 2 Whiptails, and then the Rapier. Rapier is obviously in here just to start things off, and you can even like make a Mega Collapse, which in some sense can be a win condition. Next we're running both the Barrier Statue and the Apex Avion. These cards, I guess you could call them like quote unquote the only true bricks in the deck. The reason why you run both of these and not just pick one is because I'm running Desires. So like if you banish one off the Desires, you always have the other one. It's it rarely happens where you banish both of these off the Desires. So, and even if you do, you can still set up somewhat of a good board presence without them. But these guys are just kind of like there because in the mid game, like Apex Avion just comes up big because you can, like in a simple live board state, it's negate and it comes back every turn. It's just very oppressive for your opponent, and obviously the Barrier Statue is just kind of like a win con sometimes. Like you just summon this, and a lot of times a lot of decks can't even get over it. Next for the hand traps, I'm running 9 hand traps. You can mess around and put whatever hand traps you want in here, but I found that these have been the ones that have kind of like have impact, I guess. Given like the format of what's shaping out to be, we run 3 Ash, 2 DD Crow, 2 Ghost Spells, and 2 Nibiru. I feel like any combination of just however many hand traps you want to run. I think 9 is a good number in this deck. Doesn't get too cloggy. You have your draw power and desires, and I feel like running the 2s is just because like I feel like the only truly one that's good against every single deck is Ash, whereas Bell and DD Crow are a little more situational, and same thing with Nibiru. Those are the hand traps of the deck. Moving on, we got the obvious 3 of, which is Tinky, and the Barrage is also there. These just are your more ways into zoo monsters. Another way into zoo monster. 3 extra copies of Fractal, so you can get your play started. The cool thing that you can do is like obviously you can just do your zoo plays, go into like a Zeus or something. You know, you can get this down, set your Fractal, and then you can even go ahead and do your Tribrigade plays after you Zeus them. So obviously makes sense for those. Back row hate, 2 Cosmics. I think this is just a solid number to have in the main deck. Just outs the Mystic Mind, outs the problematic back row game 1. Moon Monster Reborn, because this is kind of like just like in reality like the only extender you kind of have in the deck outside if you don't count the Tribrigades, the extenders. Essentially, like the deck plays like a zoo deck, but it uses the Tribrigade monsters as extenders, which I feel like increases the power ceiling of the deck to being able to go from just ending on like Dryden with hand traps to maybe like ending on like Dryden with the barrier statue, Smokelink with hand traps as well. It just increases the ceiling, increases follow-up play. Then we run the 2 desires. Like I said, would play 3. I was playing 3. I mean, you can play 3 if you just cut one of the cards, one of the trap cards that I'm about to show later on. But yeah, you know, you can play 3. I find 2's been working for me. So, 2 Book of Moon. Book of Moon's just a sleeper card. Like I feel like it's getting a lot of popularity, but I feel it's pretty solid. Does the job, baits negates, gets problematic cards out of the way. And like lastly, this is I run 3 of the trap. Like you could easily cut one of these for like a 3rd desires or whatever you want to make room for, or you even cut one just to make it 40 cards. Like just 2 would make it an even 40, but I don't find like running that extra card like does anything. And there's a lot of times where I'd rather see this in my opening hand, like certainly not because like it turns just a single like Trident with 4, like a Trident with 3 materials into like a quick effect banish on your opponent's turn. So it's like if they out your Trident, you still have follow up, and not to mention that you just bring this, you link someone into the Sure Egg, and he can get you a quick effect banish like I stated. But yeah, the trap's bonkers. It it's a special as many special summon as many as you want from the banished or graveyard of Beast Warriors, and you immediately link summon a Tribrigade monster using them, which is like super solid. You can re-proc your Nervals to get your searches if you summoned out your Link 2, like your Baron Blossom properly. You can bring her back, get a draw, replenish your hand. Just this card's utility, being able to like get your banish back into your graveyard, I feel like is essential. Like almost like that's why I've wanted to play 3 of it. Like I said, you could easily cut like one of these to make it even 40, or cut one of these and put in the 3rd desires. It's just whatever. I feel like running desires is nice, and I also don't run Pot of Avarice because I feel like Pot of Avarice more times than not, at least for me, has been just cloggy, and there's been more times where I'd rather see desires than Avarice. So that's why I decided to play desires over Avarice. And now moving into the extra deck. For the extra deck, I have the 1 Trident, 1 Hammercon, 1 Borbo, 2 Chakanine, and 2 Tiger Mortar, and obviously the 1 Zeus. I just feel like this is just like a good standard zoo like toolbox for your extra deck. These guys just count Urk as more like banish fodder. I feel like the deck doesn't really need to go into like examples where you would need 2 Borbo. I feel like typically making the first one, like making the 1 going into Zeus is like usually enough. I don't think it's necessary to play two, but I mean you can play two if you want. But I just think that this ratio of zoo monsters has been working fairly solid and might even become just a standard. I mean, like one play like you do is like if you open up your zoo and like you're into your like Tribrigade combos, you can easily just make a Zeus, bait out whatever negates or like clear their board with the Zeus, and then easily go into your Tribrigade plays to set up the Simorgling and statue block. So like after you've cleared their board, you've made it to where they can't recover, and kind of ensure that you're gonna take that game. Then for the Tribrigades, Link monsters, you play one Baron Blossom, the one Link 3. In the future, I don't know if I'd play this. I rarely ever summon it, but I guess it could come up in theory. But this will probably get replaced with the Link 2 that's coming out, and it got announced a few weeks ago. But I think the Link 2 would actually be better than this in some situations, just because it allows you to be able to search the trap. But we'll see we'll see moving forward. Also play two of the Ominous Opening. One of these can be used for like one of the combos you can do. I feel like two is great. Like I said, one you can use in the combo, search a zoo monster. Also like another one is just being able to summon off the Revolt. So since I was maxing out on Revolt, this is usually where you're going to be summoning off Revolt every single time. Just because having that banish effect is just so crucial sometimes. It can win you games, can catch your opponent completely off guard. It's definitely worth running two. If I was only running one Revolt, I'd probably only play one of this, but since I'm maxing out on it, I'm running two. Lastly, we play the Oath Dragon, the Megaclops, and the Simorgling. Simorgling is just here to bring out Apex Avian or the Barrier Statue. I don't play like the Union Carrier, like Infinite Negate stuff, just because I feel like that variant is a little more weaker to disruption. While yeah, the ceiling is just a lot higher, but this one is more like utility, kind of like grindy, and you can like control the board state. And I feel like you're more in control with this variant, where like even if you're putting against hand trap, you're not necessarily like even if you get hand trap, you're not necessarily out of the game just for the sheer amount of just like one card starter, one card, like you can get into whatever you want with this deck. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for the deck profile. Have a video probably coming out, might be uploaded alongside this one, where it shows like just some duels that I've had and like just the testing I've had with this deck, just so you guys can get an idea of how it plays. But that's gonna do it all for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.